Hello everybody, hope you enjoyed the class that we had last night on nutrition. We had everybody fill out a question and I want to take some time to answer a couple questions. We're going to answer 3 questions today. First one that we had, and these are all related to nutrition, what do you think about Chinese food and how regular or at least is it alright to have? As far as Chinese food, we talked about like the 80-20 principle. Like if you do right 80% of the time, you can usually get away with the other 20%. Some people want to be more strict, which is great when it comes to their health, but give yourself a little bit of play. I would definitely put that in the 20%. Chinese food, when you talk about good fats and bad fats, a lot of times there's bad fats that are added. Another big thing, if you've heard of MSG, which stands for monosodium glutamate, is a food additive and a flavor enhancer. So it makes it taste fresher and kind of enhances the flavor of what's in there. That can be detrimental for a lot of people. It can lead to headaches, vision issues. It's something that you want to stay away from if you can. So if you were to go to a Chinese restaurant, I'd ask if they add that into their food. That'd probably be the number one thing I would ask. But outside of that, I think for the most part you can add it into that 20% principle. Not something that I would do every day though, for sure. Next question is grass-fed listed on the label when you buy the beef meat, or do you have to ask the butcher? So we talked about grass-fed versus grain-fed. Typically grass-fed, you're probably going to have to ask. They might have it on the label. They can definitely have it on the label, but if you're going to go to say like a meat counter or something like that, you're probably going to want to ask, is this grass-fed meat? Because they're probably going to have mostly the grain-fed stuff out there because that's probably what most people purchase. But so that's just something you're going to have to ask. Good question though. And going back to the grass-fed, how's grass-fed better than grain-fed? Has to do with the types of fats, okay? So conventional meat, there can be a lot of fats that are inflammatory, like omega-3s and a good portion of omega-6s and a good ratio are in the grass-fed beef. So tons of omega-3s, has a lot of what's called CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, which a lot of people actually take for fat loss. So that's in the grass-fed beefs. How much exercise should you incorporate in your healthy lifestyle? That's up to you, but I would recommend for most people probably anywhere between 4 to 6 days, 30 to 60 minutes, depending on the activity. It doesn't have to be going to the gym, it can be going for a walk outside, you just got to be moving. So most days of the week we can add in some sort of movement is ideal. Our jobs, our lifestyles can be very sedentary, so it doesn't matter if you're playing with the kids, but just try to get active at least 30 to 60 minutes most days, and that should be sufficient for most people. But appreciate your questions. We're going to answer a couple of these every day and get you all your questions answered. Any other questions, any other feedback that you have, definitely let us know.